Hi guys, welcome to the video. Here we are going to start with the related services chapter 9. So it is going to be a study material coverage. Okay, I'm going to cover all the important areas and uh, whichever the area I feel like you can do it, I will leave for you. Okay. Yes, let's start. So first of all, SRS 4400. In this video, we are going to see this. Perform agreed upon procedure. This is an engagement to perform agreed upon procedures regarding the financial information, right? Okay, first introduction. As a CA, we are going to provide those services other than the assurance services, right? So we are not always there for providing the assurance engagement, that is expressing the truth and fairness of the financial information, okay? Expression about the opinion on the truth and fairness of the financial statements. We are not going to do that always. So we are going to perform other engagements as well. What is the other engagement? Whatever the other than assurance engagement, whatever we are performing, that is called as the related services. So first we'll understand what is an assurance engagement. Assurance engagement is nothing but where a practitioner is going to express a conclusion. Okay, based on that conclusion, the confidence of the intended users of that financial information is going to enhance, going to increase. Okay, so here what we are going to do, we are going to measure the subject matter against the criteria. So by measuring the subject matter against the criteria, we are going to express a conclusion. With that conclusion, it is going to enhance the degree of the intended users. Okay, this is an assurance engagement. So whether always the auditor is going to perform the assurance engagement? No. So he is going to do something. He is going to act as a practitioner. He is going to act as a practitioner. So what is that act? Here it is SRS, okay, agreed upon procedures and compilation engagement. So that is A. C stands for consultancy engagement such as management tax consulting, and T stands for the preparing the tax return where he is not going to give any assurance. So these areas, okay, are the related services, right? It is in the nature of related services. Now we are going to see what is agreed upon procedures, right? So here the name itself saying that we are going to agree on something, right? The auditor is engaged by whom? By the client. Okay, the auditor is going to be engaged by the client to perform three things: specified procedures on specified subject matter, okay, and about the specified elements, accounts or items of the financial statements. So everything will be specified by the client itself, right? Okay. One more point you have to remember, that the person doing the related services and the auditor of the financial statements need not be a same person. It can be a two different person, no problem, right? Okay. Here you can read this example. Next, SRS 4400, we are entering into this. Here you are going to have two objective. Okay, see, I'm not going to read line by line. I'm just having the extracts here. This extracts will help you to retrieve these lines. Okay, so as an objective, what you are going to do as a practitioner, now you are going to, okay, so the objective of the agreed upon procedure engagement is for the auditor to carry out the procedure. What procedure he needs to do? Okay, here he is going to carry out the audit procedures, okay, audit procedures as they have agreed upon, and to report on the factual findings. Okay, here the auditor is simply, he is going to give the factual findings, okay, report on the factual findings. No assurance, no assurance, and then he's not going to give any conclusions here, right? And this report is restricted only to those parties who have agreed upon, restricted to the parties, okay, because other people do not know that it is used for for the it is of restricted procedures. Okay, it is the agreed procedures, so other people don't know that. So it is only for those people who have agreed upon, right? So here you are going to first understand the audit versus agreed upon procedures. Okay, what is audit versus agreed upon procedure? See, in audit, who decides the procedure is the auditor going to decide. In agreed upon procedures, it is going to be an agreed procedures. Here you are going to give the opinion. Here there is no opinion. Here it is a reasonable assurance. Here it is again no assurance. And reporting, you are going to express your opinion. Here it is a report on factual findings, right? Yes, the same thing is given in this paragraph. You can read and conclude here. Okay, there is one example for agreed upon procedures. They are saying that you are going to evaluate the validity of account payable. So there is some procedure, it is given by the client. What the client is saying, first of all, you just take the trial balance, go and check the outstanding amount. Okay, outstanding amount, who are the major suppliers, and you take that report, okay, and go and get the confirmation from the supplier. Okay, now you are going to compare both the things. That's it. Okay, first is the trial balance, second is the supplier confirmation, third is the comparison of the both. So you are going to do this. Here you are not going to give any assurance, nothing. Okay, like if there are any variations between both the statements, you are going to just tell that yes, there is a variation. That's it. You are not going to give any assurance on that, right? The next point is that the general principles of agreed upon procedures engagement. So here you have to follow all the principle. The auditor should comply with the code of ethics and also the basic principles like objectivity, professional competence, confidentiality, professional conduct, integrity, and the technical standards. Okay, so with this copy you can remember the 5 points, and technical standards you have to remember. Okay, but independence, whether the complaints of independence is required, here you are not going to give any assurance as such, right? So independence, complying with the independence is not required. But if your terms or objectives requires you to be independent, then you have to be independent, right? See, this point is important. Where the auditor is not independent, a statement to that effect should be made in the report on factual findings. In the factual finding report, you have to write that yes, I'm not independent. Okay. Next, defining the terms of engagement. Whenever you are entering into an engagement, you have to have the clear understanding of the agreed upon procedures and what are the conditions of an engagement, right? First, what are the matters you are going to agree with your client? First, you are going to agree the nature. What is the nature of the engagement? And you have to clearly state the fact that this is not a audit, this is not a review, this is not a audit, this is not a review, and you are not going to give any assurance, right? First is the nature. Second is the purpose. What is the purpose of the engagement? Nature of the engagement, purpose of the engagement. Very easy. Next, two things about the procedure. One is the identification of the financial information. So to which financial information I am going to apply this agreed upon procedures, and what is the nature, timing, extent of this procedure, right? The last point is the limitation. So is there any limitations on the distribution of the persons? Okay, so it is restricted to the limited to the restricted parties, right? So very limited parties. Here, if the client is not accepting, I'm saying that if we have agreed, I will give this report only to you, but the client is saying no, it will be used by everyone, then you cannot accept the engagement, right? So it is in the interest of both the client and the auditor sends the engagement letter. Okay, here is going to document the key terms of appointment, documenting the key terms of appointment. Okay, let's go here. Here, what are the matters you're going to include in the engagement letter? The main thing is that the list. What is the list you are going to include? The list is that listing of the procedures to be performed as the agreed upon between the parties. all the procedures you have to add, and a statement that it is restricted to the specific parties. Okay, this report on factual findings is restricted to the specific parties. You have to state this. Okay, state this in the engagement letter. I have made double star here and here because the same point you can add in the report section, right? Yes. So next is the planning. Planning, the auditor should make an effective plan to perform, and he has to perform the procedure, and he has to collect the evidence. On the basis of the evidence, he will give the factual findings report, right? What are the procedures he can perform? Inquiry analysis, recomputation, and observation, inspection, confirmation. Now, reporting. See, the report on the agreed upon procedures engagement needs to describe what is the purpose, okay, and the agreed upon procedures should be in sufficient detail to enable the readers to understand the nature and the extent of the work performed. Okay, so first of all, they need to describe the purpose and what are the procedures, and it should also enable the readers to understand what is the nature and how much, to what extent the work has been done. So what are the things you can include in the report? First, T stands for title, A stands for addressee, I stands for identification of the specific financial or non-financial information on which you have applied this agreed upon procedures. The point I discussed above. Okay, this point I discussed above. And one more point is that it has been performed as per the SRS, okay, statement. And this point is also we have discussed above, a listing of specific procedures performed, right? Other important points which you can easily remember and which is really important is that this 4 points, okay, they will test this as a separate question. Okay, see, a statement that the procedures performed do not constitute an audit. Okay, it is not an audit, no assurance is there. And a statement that if I have performed additional procedures, see here we have agreed upon the procedures, okay, and I have not performed any additional procedures. If I have performed additional procedures, then other matters might have come to the light. Okay, so I've been knowing other informations also. Okay, other matters would also be reported. Now, a statement that the report is restricted to those parties that have agreed to the uh, procedures to be performed. Okay, so only to those parties who have agreed, for them this report is restricted. Last one, this is only to those elements, accounts and items which we have agreed, and it is not for the whole financial statements. So these 4 points, statements, okay, so this is a separate question, you have to remember this. Okay, so other common points you can remember is the date of the report, place of signature and the auditor's signature. Next is a documentation. So what you have to document is, as an auditor, you have to document the matters which are important, right? So it is going to provide evidence, okay, to support that the report of the factual findings. So it is going to support the report of factual finding, and also that the engagement is conducted as per SRS. Okay, so by this way we have completed the SRS, all the questions, all the important areas, right? So yes guys, by this like this we will be doing the other areas as well. Okay, so till then I want you to read consistently and keep yourself hydrated. Okay, so we'll meet you in the next video. Bye bye guys.